Happened the day.
You're right, I'm a UPK nigga. Straight out of one West, no contest. We the best to the niggas that's living, trying to contend with the stress. Going through the test, no access. Country repressed, slaves. Niggas is dying off in waves. Living in dirt, now it's a grave. Niggas crosstalk through the crosswalk, or the white chalk over the bodies of bros that you paid. Americans killing us, saying they fearing us with the drugs in the hood. Now my niggas delirious, put a gun in my face. Or because of my race, click, boom, flash, just as skills and murder my ass. Like a chief to the slaughter, I'm eating harder and harder. Baptized with these words, never different me harder. So now we pray to the Father. Give strength to the Father that's looking for the water. That's fucking taking our dogs, niggas, it's more time. Lights up, nigga, showtime. Got the green light on that ass, yeah, no time. Either boot up, shut up, but get your ass up, cause we ain't got time to be playing. It's all fucked up America. Heaven for the thief, hell for the slave. Reaping what you sold, meaning giving back what you gave for a clean slate. Try to imitate, you was always fake. America, every city, state, this is your fate. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
On the timeline, giving them room to expose the intricacies of these five. You and mine, I ain't shit, but keep it is a pastime. So in a minute, I'm a pass sign. I hope you get it. If you didn't, you can crash mine. Kinda simple if you feel it, catch your last line. Feel good, confused, a bad mind. A damn shame. It's the exact thing on get your ass fried. Bombs from the sky, rich double lullaby. Then they make it fly. Hope you got an alibi. Bombs from the sky, rich double lullaby. Devil is high. You see it from the parking lot. Devil finna ball out. Devil's finna fall out. All our warfare, nightmares in the big office. Murdered us for years and thinking shit won't turn around. I never learned that this motherfucker burns out. Yeah, in the streets. Told him to preach. All of you angels bring hope to this beast. You room for time, but we play for keeps. I pray to my Father, bring hope to this beast. Remember them times we hung on the trees. All of you nations bow down to your knees. Remember them shit. They brought us fleets. Fuck the Apollo, bring the heat. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, whoa, to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
God is going to destroy this empire, man. You got to see famine in this place. You think them fires in California is bad? That's just the beginning of what the Lord is about to do. Because you've been evil to the Lord's people. You've been wicked to the Most High's children, man. You've been destructive to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me tell you something, black man. You got to put on your strength now, man. Put back on your strength and might, black man, because your day is coming. Your day is coming because the Lord is going to bring judgment on this earth.
You already know what time it is, you understand? UPK, one bustin' and coming to the heart of all my brothers. We rolling through, you understand? And these niggas weak, these niggas don't know what to do. You see these soldiers beside me, standing in all black with the shields on, that's right. They all my brothers. Gold is precious, but loyalty is price. Palm of the mind, I leave you light. Wrong with this shit, I've been needed tight. And don't do any Christ, cause all my niggas righteous, all politics and fight. Cowards cold, real niggas so brave, stand for what they believe and won't compromise a day. Never harmonize a trait, do not
Niggas strong, no chase. The rubber niggas sweet like 9 licks. Tank for the brown sugar like some 9 lick. Every time I move, righteous demonstration. All I deny is faith. My brother's glorious, true warriors. The label swore down and them cities can't stop till we notorious. Thrown in my way with a supreme audience. Proud ass nigga get exiled, no loitering around my bros.
Yeah, you already know what it is. 144 back again. UPK style, put it down for my bros. And I roll straight so. That's right. Niggas with them shield.
That's right.
They my bros.
Hey, give me something to drink. Oh, shut. Give me something to drink. I don't know. Some of them.
My brain like a ladder house. This can't blend with my men, nigga. I can take the fake from the treacherous mouth. Claim the God is all love, we don't believe that. Give a damn about the 2 cents, fuck the feedback. I give it all for my brothers, they deserve. No excuses for my niggas, they striving to be perfect. Sacrifice whatever call, they're never on. UPK, we click tight like sweet pea and joke. Indoors to the end, it's what a wise man told me. Liquor from the top shelf, but I split it with the low. 144, nigga, everybody know. All they ever wanted was revenge. Fuck the road, say you down for the cause, gotta show me. Stay tall and
Yeah.
do not blush.
With the cup. Yeah, I need a cup.
Like Derrick Jones locker, or Arthur Central locker. No competition, only glory in the distance for my brothers.
You understand? You done found a new breed of Hebrews that stand and walk with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And we don't care.
Hold on.
We got to come over here. You've been standing before this truth. You understand? We done took them all on and gonna continue to take them all on.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of troops to this trail.
All right, Shalom Israel. We the ISUPK, started out of 1 West of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanan. The ISUPK is not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group, none, not a zero, zilch. I'm also in the quorum of the Nashville School. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham to my brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathan by Hashem Yahweh Shai to my sisters. And we got a real good class today. All right, so we're going to start off, talking about how Christ was a revolutionary. A lot of people think, when they think of revolutionaries, in the Black and Hispanic community, they think of people like Malcolm X. People like, some people even think of Martin Luther King as a revolutionary. All right. Che Guerrero. There's just a lot of different people who, in our community who we look up to, the Black Panthers, all of the Brown Pride movements, our people look up to these people as being revolutionaries, but have no idea that the greatest revolutionary to ever walk the planet Earth was a man that you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. We call him Yahweh Shai Mashiach. All right. He was a revolutionary. Here was a man who, stood up. Look up, give me the definition of revolutionary too. Here is a man that stood up to, the powers that be. That's what you would think of a revolutionary, what you would think that it is. A man that stands up to the powers that be. One who goes against the grain. A person who, fights for their people, even when their lives are in danger. This is someone who you would think is a revolutionary. All right. Well, you should definitely put Christ in that category, as being the greatest revolutionary. You know, that's someone who, you know, fought for his people, died for his people, and, you know, totally was, you know, in bondage, in love, man, with the people that God sent him to help, you know, free. All right. Give me the definition of bondage. I mean, the definition of revolutionary. It's a lot.
Revolutionary, involving or causing a complete or dramatic change.
All right. So a revolutionary is someone who's causing a complete change. So he takes what you know as to be the norm and turns it into something else. All right. Keep reading. It should be another.
Yes, engaged or promoting political revolution.
Someone who promotes political revolution. So he's someone who, you know, goes against the natural or normal ideologies of the world and turns them into something different than the natural ideologies of the world. All right, keep reading. Should be one more.
Of pertaining to, characterized by, or of nature of a revolution, or a sudden, complete, or marked change. A revolutionary, radically new or innovative, outside or beyond established procedure.
So this is someone who goes against the grain. All right, a revolutionary is someone who is radical, who have radical thoughts. You know, he's not the one who stays with the norm. He's, you know, totally different. He's someone totally different than what you are used to. You know, he has radical thoughts and radical, you know, ideologies. So this is someone who you would consider to be a revolutionary. And it's important to know that Christ fit all of these characteristics. Christ was a revolutionary. Christ came to, you know, when he hit the scene, all of the you know, old guard were against Christ. People tend to think that all of the people was against Christ. It wasn't the people who were against Christ. It was the old guard who was against Christ. The same people who are against the ISUPK today are the same people who was against Christ back then. The old guard. When we come and we talk about, you know, Mary had a husband. Who has a problem with Mary having a husband? These damn pastors do. You know what I'm saying? Because they are taught the ideology of, you know, the Christian church. So when we come with something totally different, they, you know, they like, man, they is causing trouble. They troublemakers. You know, they'll try to think of all kind of stuff to, you know, put, you know, a bad spin on our name, man. You know, slander the ISUPK, the priests and prophets of the Lord. Same way they did Christ. They'll say we just mad, we drunkards, you know what I'm saying? They come with all kind of crazy stuff, you know, just to put slander on our name. Why is it so important for a pastor to put slander on our name? Just think about why the Pharisees wanted to put slander on Christ. Why he slandered Christ's name. Why is it so important that they slander us? Go ahead, brother.
So that nobody else wants to come to us. Like, they'll form like a certain like perception about you without like, and then tell the people about it, and they don't know who it is, so they just, and it's one of their leaders telling you. So automatically they just gonna think, oh, this group is terrible. Because that's what's being told by their higher up. All
right, so that's one of the reasons. Give me another reason. That's a great reason too. The brother broke it down good. He said that, you know, one of the reasons why is because, you know, they don't want anybody to leave them and join us. All right. So what's another reason why? Go ahead, sis.
It will mess with their money.
It will mess with their money. Right. That's another reason. That's probably one of the biggest reasons, because like, by them, by people leaving them and coming to us, that's money that's leaving them. When they see people leave, they don't look at it as souls leaving. You know what I'm saying? They look at it as dollar signs leaving. All right. What is another reason why? This will be the biggest reason, though. This next reason. Go ahead, brother.
Because
Yeah. Go ahead.
you said like they don't want nothing to change. Like if everything goes after them and everybody starts going to the truth, then they ain't got no job no more.
There you go. You want it. You want it. What was you finna say, brother?
I was going to say they don't want the truth to get out.
I wouldn't say they don't want the truth to get out because they don't know the damn truth. You know, pastors don't know the truth. You know, but the brother's on it. He's on it. He said, say it again. What you just said.
I said that like if everybody starts going from them and going to the truth, and then nobody's left there, then they don't have a job no more.
They don't have a job no more. All right. So without them having a job, what are they losing when they don't have a job no more? What are they losing? Besides money. We already established they're going to lose money. What else are they losing that's more important to them than money? Go ahead.
They're losing power.
Power. Get a brother hand. That's what it is. That's what they losing, man. They are losing power. And this is what's very important to, you know, the leaders of today. Money gonna come with the power. You get power, money comes along with power. So the main thing that you want to have in what these pastors have that they do not want to lose is power. Because they are known as the leaders of our community. So with that title of being a leader comes power. And that's really what they don't want to lose. And the same way that they didn't want to lose power back then, they don't want to lose power right now. The exact same way. The Pharisees did not want to lose power with the Romans back in the day. And guess what? These pastors don't want to lose power with the Romans of today. It's the exact same thing going on today, man. And then you have these revolutionaries in the ISUPK who are changing the guard. See, the Most High he said Christ was coming to change the guard. He was going to change the old way of thinking and putting this new way of thinking in. And that's what we're fighting today. We're fighting the exact same battle that Christ was fighting back then. To fix that old way of thinking, to change the old way of thinking into a new way of thinking. The Christianity that you know today must be destroyed the same way as the truth that they had back then had to be destroyed to get this new truth in. All right, so we're gonna and that's what makes the ISUPK a revolutionary like Christ. We had the same spirit that Christ had when he was trying to, you know, change the old guard into the new guard. Y'all got any questions about anything before we get started? About any scriptures or anything? Okay. All right, no sweat. Give me Mark chapter 21 and 22. Hakola, give me that.
Mark 21 and 22.
Uh-huh. And Edward, you give me John 6 and 30. This is gonna be an important class, man. You know, because some people, like I was saying, people think that, you know, they got that. What's that movie just came out? With Fred Hampton in it.
Julius and the Messiah, Black Messiah.
Yeah, the Black Messiah. All right. So people would think that Fred Hampton was, you know, a revolutionary. Fred Hampton really was not a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Fred Hampton was, you know, he was, well, by definition, he was. All right. By definition, he was, because he had a political ideology that he was trying to bring to the old ideology. All right, but when you're in the truth, you see things totally different. All right, so when you see that, Fred Hampton was trying to bring, he was actually just doing Christianity basically, because he was trying to bring all peoples together. You do what I'm saying, to make that change. Where Christ wasn't bringing all peoples together to make the change. Christ was making the change with his brothers. And that's what made Christ a black revolutionary. I should have put that in the title. A black revolutionary. Go ahead.
It ain't no Mark 21.
Mark 2 and 21.
Oh, you said 2 and 21.
Yeah. I should have put that in the title. I'm going to go back and change that and put Christ was a black revolutionary. Because that's damn sure what he was. And he didn't bring all nations in to try to fight the fight with him. You do what I'm saying? And that's what Fred Hampton did. That's what Martin Luther King did. That's what Malcolm X did. You do what I'm saying? All of these so-called leaders, they will always use people of other nations, of people who wasn't going through what they was going through, and would try to bring them together to make a call. Like Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no different. All this stuff is just really, you learn in the Christian church by bringing a melting pot together to fight. Go ahead. What was you going to say?
No.
Okay. All right, give me Mark chapter 2, verse 21.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 21. I got it. Verse 21. No man also showeth a piece of new cloth on an old garment.
He said, no man seweth a piece of new cloth. So let me get that with you real quick. Okay. All right. Yeah, start off.
Verse 21. No man also seweth a piece of new cloth on an old garment.
All right, it said, no man seweth a piece of new cloth on an old garment. All right, keep reading.
Else a new piece that filled it up taketh away from the old, and the rent is made worse.
So you don't want to put a new piece, like you don't want to patch up an old garment. You know what I'm saying? Because an old garment it's gonna keep ripping. You know what I'm saying? It's an old garment. All right, so you don't want to put a new piece on an old garment. All right, keep reading.
Verse 22. And no man putteth new wine into an old bottle.
Right.
Else the new wine doeth burst the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And the wine is spoiled.
The spirit.
Spilled. And the bottles will be
marred.
But new wine must be put in new bottles.
And that's what he's saying. He was like, you don't want to take old bottles and put, new wine inside of old bottles. You want to put new wine in new bottles. All right, you want to put new cloth. You don't put new cloth on old cloth. You can just make a whole new, cloth. All right, so what is this saying right here? What is this saying? Think of the context of what we're talking about. Christ was bringing in remember the revolutionary, all right? Remember the definition of revolutionary. All right, Christ was bringing in a new way of thinking. All right. So if he was bringing a new way of thinking and he was fighting against the old guard, which were the Pharisees, all right. So what is Christ talking about that's happening right here? Go ahead, sister.
Like, is he talking about their mind? So is he talking about, like, you gotta put away all of the old stuff that you've been taught, all of this, the stuff that the Pharisees been doing, and all of the wicked stuff that they've been teaching, all that, and you gotta start thinking in a new way,
right?
And acting in a new way.
Okay, all right, that's one way to look at it. That's definitely one way to look at it. All right, anybody else? Go ahead.
It's like that saying, out with the old and in with the new.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
It's like You can't have.
Remember, he's talking to Pharisees. All right, he's talking to these Pharisees and letting them know about new wine, like you just said, out with the old and in with the new. What you definitely just hit it. But what? Explain some more. Break it down to me.
So, like, let me put it in like context with him and Pharisees. Like,
Okay.
with him, like talking to the Pharisees, their way is old,
Right.
and he's like, your way ain't right, because that's your way is directly going against the Most High.
Okay.
And with your and for the Most High way to come in, we gotta get rid of yours. Yours just can't stand them.
Get a brother hand. Get a brother hand. That's what Christ is talking about. Christ is a revolutionary. Christ was telling these Pharisees, there's about to be a changing of the guard. All right. Your old ways are what's keeping our people, sinning. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell the people not to sin. It's like when they caught that woman in adultery, right? They caught a sister in adultery. All right, so they brought him to Christ. It was like, Christ, we got a woman who was caught red-handed in adultery. What should we do to her? The law says that we should stone her to death. All right, what say you? So Christ said, well, you without sin cast the first stone. And the Pharisees couldn't cast a stone because they all had sin. So what Christ is telling them, you cannot judge the people when you're doing what the people is doing. You is the reason why people are sinning. They can't look at you as an example of not to sin because you sin. So how are we going to look at you as being an example of not to, and how are you going to carry out judgments when you are doing the exact same thing they do? Christ said, y'all are the direct reason why our people are sinning. The Lord can't use you as being an example of how not to sin. Christ could have threw a stone at him because Christ didn't sin. So Christ was like, y'all are the reason why our people are in the condition they in. This is the same thing that we are saying about the Christian pastors. The buck stops with the Christian pastor. The same way the buck stopped with the Pharisees back in the day, the buck stopped with the Christian pastors today. The Christian pastors are your Pharisees of the Bible. They can't teach our people not to sin because they are sinning. The same thing, it's the exact same scenario. So when we come in and we talking about follow the law, statutes, and commandments of God, that's what the ISUPK is saying. They're going to come against us because they're not following, they teaching not to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of God. So naturally, we're going to be enemies. The same way Christ was an enemy to the Pharisees because Christ was teaching a new way of thinking. Stop listening to the Pharisees, listen to me, and come back into the good graces of God. ISUPK, stop listening to your Christian pastors, listen to us, and come and get in the good graces of God. We're doing the exact same thing Christ was doing. It's revolutionary. The same way they was threatening Christ's life, guess what? They threaten our lives. We're going against the establishment. We are putting new wine in new bottles. The exact same way. And that's what we're teaching the people, man. And that's what Christ was trying to teach the people. Not to listen to them old damn ways that got our people, aborting babies. They got our people out here doing drugs. They got our people out here, being whores and adulterers. Got our people out here stealing. Don't listen to those things. The old ways. Listen to the new way. Read it one more time.
21 again.
Come on.
Verse 21. No man also sewed a piece of new cloth on an old garment. Also, the new piece is that fill it up, take it away from the old, and the rent is made worse. Verse 22. And no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine doeth burst the bottles, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred. But new wine must be put into new bottles.
Right. You can't mix it up together. There's no way that Christ was gonna be working with the Pharisees. You do what I'm saying? There's no way that was gonna happen. That Christ was gonna be working with the Pharisees. It would made the people worse. Same way we can't work with Christian pastors. It's gonna make the people worse. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not gonna happen. Somebody got to go. And the Lord is with, making new wine. Because the old wine ain't no good no more. The old wine is no good anymore. So we have to use this new wine, this new way of thinking, man. You have to change your way of thinking into this new way of thinking. It's revolutionary to think new. People get stuck in their ways and then don't want to change. So they just stick with what's comfortable. But to go against, society is revolutionary. When you quit getting high, you are becoming a revolutionary. When you don't abort your babies, you are becoming a revolutionary. When you quit smoking cigarettes, when you quit eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, you are becoming a revolutionary. Because you're going against all of the things that, are the norms of the United States or of the world, period. What's normal in the United States, when you go against that, you are becoming a revolutionary. Same way Christ went against all the things that the Romans made normal. He became a revolutionary. You can't be a revolutionary and still, hold, like be a political revolutionary. You can't be a political revolutionary because you still uphold the standards of, say for instance, you're in America, you still uphold the standards of America because you still believing in, the main tenets of America, like the Constitution and stuff. The Black Panthers believed in the Constitution. They believed in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. You do what I'm saying? They believe that they have right. They believe that they should be able to bear arms. And all other laws. You know what I'm saying? Because the white man was bearing arms. So we believe that we should be able to bear arms too. How different was they than Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King believed that, he should be able to go to a white man's bathroom because y'all going to a white man's bathroom. I should be able to eat in white restaurants because y'all eating in white restaurants. The Black Panthers believe the exact same thing. They believe that they had rights, the same rights as the whites did. That's not being a revolutionary. Being a revolutionary would be getting your own. Having everything that you want of your own and not asking nobody for nothing. That would have been a revolutionary. A Black revolutionary. Christ Christ was a revolutionary and, like no other. Give me John 6 and 30.
John chapter 6, verse 30.
I go like, give me John 2 and 13.
Verse 30. They said thereon unto him, what sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What dost thou work? Verse 31.
Hold on. All right, John 6 and 30. All right, read it one more time.
John chapter 6, verse 30. They said thereon unto him.
Then said
Thereon unto him, what sign showest thou then? And we may say, that we may see and believe thee.
Mm-hmm.
What dost thou work?
All right, so this is them asking Christ, what sign you gonna show us, man, so we can believe you? Niggas always need a sign. We always got to have something that we can see. You know what I'm saying? We got to have a sign. We ain't gonna believe nothing until we see it with our own eyes. And then when we see it with our own eyes, we still ain't gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. Children of Israel seen themselves walk through the sea on dry land. And got on the other side and built a calf to another god. You do what I'm saying? We can see a miracle. We can see the Lord do a miracle in our life and will still, not give him reverence or change our lives after we just seen a sign that the Lord did clearly. You know what I'm saying? We will still not, do what he tell us to do. That's just our nature. Always have been, that's just us as a people. That's one of the flaws that we have as being an Israelite. All right, keep reading.
Verse 31. Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat.
All right, so this is Christ telling them. He was like, they were like, look, our fathers ate manna in the desert. When they was in the wilderness, the Most High gave them manna to eat. All right, manna, they didn't have anything to eat, so the Lord was giving them manna. It was falling out of heaven, and they was feeding off of this manna that the Lord gave them. So all the nutrients and anything that they needed in their life, they got it from this manna. That's all they ate was manna. All right, keep reading.
So he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Verse 32. Then Christ said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven.
All right, so it was like Moses gave you bread from heaven, but it wasn't the bread that my Father gave you from heaven. All right, the true bread. All right, so what Christ is doing right here is showing them, he's taking them away from the old thinking. This is what Christ is doing. Ultimately, this is what Christ is doing. He's taking them away from the old thinking, all right, and thinking of, the Most High, Moses did this for you, but they don't know that Christ is going to do more. You do what I'm saying? What Moses done for you, and it's going back, what he's trying to get the people to see is what we was just talking about earlier, about how the Pharisees is different than him, all right? And this is what he's showing them. He was like, all right, Moses did give you a manna from heaven, but he didn't give you the true manna that the Lord is giving you right now. All right, keep reading.
Verse 33. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world.
Okay, read that one more time.
Verse 33. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world.
So he's telling them, he's like, okay, so the true bread of God, the true manna that God given you is the Son of God that coming down from heaven. All right, so now he's comparing himself to what? What is he comparing himself to? Go ahead.
He's comparing himself to the manna that the Lord had sent down when Moses was giving was over the people.
Mm-hmm.
So he compared himself to the manna that God sent down.
Right. He's comparing himself to the mount, the true bread. This is what he's saying, the true bread. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 34. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread.
So they like, okay, well, if you you got the true bread, give us more of this true bread. All right, keep reading.
And Christ said unto them, I am the bread of life.
Uh-huh.
He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst.
So he's like, I am the true bread. So he like, because the people, like he's saying, they got to see stuff. So Christ is like, look, I want you to see with spiritual eyes. All right, I'm the true bread that the Lord given you. Anybody who believes on me would never. What it say? Anybody who cometh to me shall never hunger, and anybody who believe on me shall never thirst. All right, so he's telling them, I am the bread. You're not finna get a physical bread. You finna get me. I'm what's gonna feed you and quench your thirst. All right, keep reading.
And he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Verse 36. But I said unto you that ye not also have seen me.
That ye also have seen me.
That ye also have seen me, and believe not.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I was just talking about. Because Christ, like, I'm the true bread. I'm the manna that coming from heaven. You know what I'm saying? And you have seen me, and you still haven't believed me. Remember, they asked him for a sign. He's like, I am the sign. You done seen me, but you still don't believe. All right, keep reading.
Verse 37. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out.
All right, everybody. So everybody who comes to Christ, the only way what's the only way that you can come to Christ? What's the only way you can come to the truth? Said the brother guy.
Turning from your old ways and keeping the laws. Keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Okay, so how? All right, so I say for instance, when you was in the world, you was in the world, you was out here doing what you do. All right, what made you come into the truth?
Watching videos.
All right, what made you start watching video?
Just popped up on my phone that day.
Just popped up on your phone?
God, it's just like when I got on YouTube, it just popped up. I started watching it from here on out.
Okay, so what was causing them to pop up on your phone?
I guess it was the Lord trying to show me something.
That's exactly what it was. Get a brother hand. All right, that's exactly what it was. You don't accidentally come into the truth. All right. Nobody accidentally comes into the truth. The Most High is the one who calls you into the truth. Now, whether you come or not, that's totally on you. All right, He the one who draws you into the truth. The zeal that you have when you're in the truth, that's totally up to the Lord. Nobody has, and He calls lots of people to the truth. You ever see people who come in the class for one day and then you don't see them no more?
Right.
He called them to the truth. But they chose not to stay. Nobody comes to the truth. Nobody comes to Christ unless the Lord tells them to come. Christ don't have a decision. He can't determine who's going to come to him, who's not. We can't determine who's going to come into the truth or who's not. What we do is continue to do classes and do the work of the Lord and all this other stuff. But if, we can't be like, okay, we can't force anybody to come to the truth. Like if you got kids or something, of course you can bring them to classes and stuff like that. But the Lord ultimately is the one who determine who comes into the truth. And nobody, it's not up to us whatsoever. We just continue to do the work, and hopefully, all of our people will come. We just, but until then, we continue to do the work. All right. And that's what Christ's telling them. Nobody, if you come in, he won't kick you out. Christ won't cast you out. If the Lord sent the people to him, he's not going to cast you out. All right, keep reading.
Verse 38. For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 39. And this is the Father's will, which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me, I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day.
All right, so everything that the Lord gives him, he's not going to lose none of it. So anybody who is meant to be in the truth and meant to stay in the truth, they will stay. All right, and the Lord will raise you up. You'll be in the kingdom with the Lord in the last day. All right, keep reading.
Verse 40. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
And this is the will of the Most High, that everybody who believes on Christ will have everlasting life, and will not see death. And when I say death, I mean a spiritual death. You won't see a spiritual death because you believe on Christ. Christ is the one who feeds the people. All right, so you're gonna get fed by Christ, and you're gonna have a spiritual life, and you'll live, have everlasting life. All right, so this is totally against what the Pharisees has been teaching. The old God. Christ was telling the people that the Most High sent him to do this work that he's doing. Same way we go tell the people, man, we are sent by the Most High to gather the people together to come back into the Lord. Christ was doing the exact same thing. Well, we doing the exact same thing as Christ was doing. All right, keep reading.
Verse 41. The Jews then murmured at him because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven.
All right, so now the Jews, and when you see the Jews, it's not all of the people. The Jews are the establishment, all right, the leaders. When you see it says the Jews, that's who he's talking about, the leaders. All right, keep reading. The leaders were against him. They murmured against him, and they like, this nigga gonna talk about, he the manna of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Who this nigga think he is? You the manna of the Lord. All right, keep reading.
Verse 42.
They came down from heaven. All right, keep reading.
Verse 42. And they said, is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know?
And ain't this dude the son of Joseph, whose father and mother? Okay, and another thing too. All right, you remember in the Chattanooga class, you remember the class was about Joseph being Christ's father. Yeah. All right, here's an example right here of how the people looked at Christ and Joseph. Nobody in that time thought that Joseph was not Christ's father. Everybody understood that was Christ's father. Everybody. It didn't come until 300 years later when people started to say, God birthed, got Mary pregnant. Everybody in the Bible, everybody during that time understood that Joseph was Christ's father. Everybody did. There's nowhere, I just want to bring it up because it was right there. All right, but they were like, okay, so ain't this Joseph? Ain't this Joseph's son? We seeing this nigga grow up. You know what I'm saying? We seeing him, pooping on himself and everything. You know what I'm saying? We changed this nigga diaper. I all of a sudden he talking about he's the manna that came down from heaven. You know what I'm saying? I seen Mary whoop his butt at service one day. You know what I'm saying? Because he was in there acting a fool when he was 2 years old. He was live. How all of a sudden now he's the man who came, he's manna, who came from heaven? I know his mama and his dad. Keep reading.
How is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven?
How he talking about he came from heaven? I know his mama and his dad. You know what I'm saying? Been knowing them for years. Me and his dad used to drink together. Yeah, my drinking partner at one time. All of a sudden, now this nigga come from heaven? Come on, man. Keep reading.
Christ therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not among yourselves.
You know, man, don't mumble up on your breath. Keep reading.
No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent the Father which hath sent me draw him.
Mm-hmm.
And I will raise raise him up at the last day.
He's like, can't nobody come to me, man. Like I said, Christ said. Like I said, ain't no need of mumbling and all that. Like I said, can't nobody come to me unless the Most High sent him. So I don't want y'all thinking that I'm doing any of this stuff that I'm doing on my own accord. I'm not. And that's what he was trying to explain to the Pharisees. That the stuff that y'all doing it for the glory of you. The stuff that I'm doing it for the glory of God. We're not doing the same work. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is sending me the people so I can change, the people's way of thinking. Because y'all are obviously not working. The Christian pastor is obviously not working. Why do you think so many people are coming into the ISUPK? All they got to do is open their eyes and see how damaged our people are because of these pastors, because of these churches. And that's why so many people are leaving these churches and coming into the ISUPK. And it ain't nothing that we doing to bring them to the ISUPK. It's the Lord is bringing them out of those churches and bringing them into the ISUPK. Keep reading.
Verse 43. It's like in verse 44. Verse 45. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me.
He said they're going to be taught of God. They're going to get taught the scriptures. They're not going to listen to doctrine no more. The people are going to, and this is why we call him Christ a revolutionary. Because Christ was telling them that things are changing, man. I'm going to teach the people the way of the Lord. I'm not going to the people are not any longer going to learn how to twerk, you know what I'm saying? How to dance, how to roll around, how to jump, walk the pews, do fake tongues. They're not going to learn that anymore. The people are going to learn the ways of the Lord going forward. Things are about to make a drastic and radical change. And that's what Christ was doing because it was prophesied that it was going to happen. The same way it's happening right now, the same way it was happening back then. The people went backwards though. So now we got to do it again. We have to make a radical change and change the people from doing the things that they used to doing and to doing the ways of the Lord. It's a total radical change, radical way of thinking, not to, sell dope no more. That's a radical way of thinking within oppressed people. To not treat our sisters, like whores. That's radical. When the world is telling our sisters that they whores. It's radical for them not to be a homosexual when the world is telling the people, the boys, to be homosexuals. That's a radical way of thinking. And it has to be a drastic change in order to change our people. Keep reading.
Verse 46. Mm-hmm. Not that any man has seen the Father, save he which is of God. He hath seen the Father.
Okay, keep reading.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. Verse 48. I am that bread of life.
He what?
I am that bread of life.
Christ said, I am that bread of life. Keep reading.
Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead.
He said, your fathers ate manna in the wilderness. The manna that came from Moses. Your fathers ate that, man, and are dead. They ate that and are spiritually dead. Keep reading.
Verse 50. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die.
He said, the bread that I'm giving you, you can eat this bread and will not die. He said, I am that bread. Fill your belly with me. Fill yourself up with me. He said, and you will never die. You eat that physical bread, you'll die eating that physical bread. This spiritual bread that you eating, which is, this truth, you'll never die. Keep reading. It's a radical way of thinking and talking. Because they looking like, man, what the hell is you talking about? The Pharisees and the Sadducees, they didn't have an idea on what the hell Christ was talking about. You the bread of life? So you telling us we got to bite you? Keep reading.
Verse 51. I am the living dead. It's like I am the living bread, which came down from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever.
So I got to take a bite out of you in order to live forever? So now you the bread. Joseph's son is the bread of life now. We got to nibble on him and we'll live forever. Keep reading.
And the bread that I will give, is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 52. The Jews thereof, the Jew therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat?
Right. So they like, okay, what the hell is he talking about, man? They ain't talking about we got to eat his. What? Okay, so what would they call him right now? If they were sitting there listening to what Christ's saying, you got to eat my flesh. You know what I'm saying? What would they call, well, they were calling him that then, but what would they call, us if we were saying the same thing? Hey, man, y'all got to eat my flesh. You know what I'm saying? And all this. Go ahead.
Call us insane.
Yeah, it would be definitely be insane. What would they call? They got a name for what they would call us. What they call us anyway. Go ahead, brother. Colt. That's what the Pharisees looking at Christ like. Okay, this nigga followers, is y'all running around eating his flesh? Y'all cannibals? What the hell is going on inside of y'all group? Y'all listen to a man saying that you got to eat my flesh. The hell? Keep reading.
It's like verse 53. Then Christ said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood.
And what?
Drink his blood.
Keep reading.
Ye have no life in you.
You have no life in you, man. If you can't eat, if you can't get full off of, remember you say you're never hungry, you'll never thirst. If you can't get full off of, me, my blood, what's going to happen to me. And if y'all can't understand, what it's going to take to serve me or to be a servant of the Lord, then, you have no idea on, being a servant of the Lord. If you can't see what I do and follow what I do and emulate me, you can't be a servant of the Lord. This is what Christ is telling them. Keep reading.
Verse 54. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. Verse 55.
For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. Verse 56. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him.
Keep reading.
As the living Father, it's like verse 57. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me.
All right, drop down to 61. To 60.
Verse 61, it's like verse 60. Many therefore of his disciples, when they heard this, said, This is an hard saying. Who can hear it?
Mm-hmm.
When Christ knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, Doth this offend you? Verse 62. What and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before?
Right.
It is the spirit that quickeneth. Sorry, the flesh profiteth nothing.
He said the spirit is the spirit is quickening, the flesh profit nothing. Keep reading.
The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
All right, quickening means giving life. All right, so he's like this spirit. The spirit is what gives life, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand what he's saying through looking through spiritual eyes. It's not physically talking about eating my damn flesh and drinking my damn blood. But guess who does that? Guess who literally emulates eating Christ's flesh and drinking his blood? Go ahead. The Christian church. You go first Sundays at every single church in the world. Emulates eating Christ's flesh and drinking his blood. When he clearly said, this is spiritual, what I'm talking about. They get crackers. And that's another thing. That's another thing. I mean, why, you know. And they would use a cracker. A saltine, a white cracker. You dig what I'm saying? I would have more respect for them if they use a wheat cracker or something. What's a brown cracker? Some kind of brown cracker or something. A Ritz or something. I'll have more respect for them if they use a Ritz cracker. But they use a white cracker, man. You know what I'm saying? That's white. Even their communion is white supremacy, man. They use white crackers. You know what? I'm gonna make a meme about that. I'm gonna make a meme about that. I am, because I really ain't never even thought of that until just right there. All right, but drop down to verse 66.
Verse 66.
Yeah.
From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him.
All right, so he lost disciples after he said this, all right, because they didn't understand what he was talking about. And he's, like I said, he's a revolutionary, man. He was coming up with something and explaining something to them so spiritual that they couldn't even understand it. And a lot of his disciples left. He had like 70 disciples who was walking with him at that time. All right, all of them left except for the 12. All right, the only disciples he had left was the 12. Everybody else left after he said those things, and the Pharisees was mocking him and all of this stuff. All right. So Christ, like I said, Christ was a revolutionary, man. He went against the grain and taught things that the people couldn't understand, and he was trying to tell them that, this new order that was happening was not of him. It was of God. He was the new manna. Y'all was eating the old manna. Well, Christ is the new manna that we're going to eat. And, like I said, the people didn't understand what he was saying. They was thinking, he's talking about, man, you got to physically eat me. You do what I'm saying? To get this understanding. And that's just not what he was talking about. Drop that. Give me John 2:13.
This is the book of John, chapter 2, verse 13.
Make sure everybody got it.
I've got it. Verse 13. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. And found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of money sitting.
All right, so now he went up in great what's the name of the damn church? What's the name of that church, man? Your mama used to go to. He went up, fell up in Mount Zion. All right. And they got, all kind of, money changes in there. They got what's them damn machine? No, they ain't got a slot machine. What's the ones you put to get your money out? They got ATMs all in the church. You know what I'm saying? They selling this and that in the church. Cost of charging niggas to get buried in the church. You know what I'm saying? They just doing all kind of. They done turned the church into just a den of thieves. You do what I'm saying? They robbing the people all throughout the church. And Christ falls up in there. All right, keep reading.
Verse 15. And when he had made a scourge of small cords.
So he took some cords, right, and wrapped them all together. All right. So he made like a little small whip. All right, keep reading.
He drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers money, and overthrew the table.
So Christ grabbed this scourge. All right, he made a scourge. It's a whip. He done made a whip. He went in there and started whipping everybody's ass. He whooped the oxen's ass. He whooped the sheep ass. You know what I'm saying? He in there just whooping everybody. And then he took all the money that was in the ATM. He busted over the ATM machine. You know what I'm saying? Dumped out all the money in the ATM machines. You know what I'm saying? And then he overturned all the tables. You know what I'm saying? Christ is just in there acting a fool. Christ just fell up in Mount Zion and acted a fool, man. Because they end up robbing the people. You dig what I'm saying? It's a revolutionary, man. He didn't walk up in there and was like, man, this is, a great place to, go buy some, land. Because, some of these churches, they own like houses and stuff like that. You can go get, they own businesses and stuff like that. So Christ didn't fall up in there like, man, this is the spot where, we can go rent a house at or, or get a loan for money and stuff like that. Churches done turned into financial institutions now. They aren't churches. They are financial institutions. All right. And Christ fell up in there and flipped over everything, man, and destroyed every damn thing. Because they was turning churches. They was doing this 2,000 years ago, turning churches into financial institutions. All right. And robbing the people, more importantly. All right. So Christ went in and acted a fool. Keep reading.
Verse 16. And said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Make not my father's house a house of merchandise.
And do what?
Make not my father's house a house of merchandise.
Take this up out of here, man, and don't make my father's house a house of merchandise. Don't turn my father's house into, H&R Block. You know what I'm saying? Don't turn my father's house into, Capital One. Y'all done turned this into a financial institution, man. And no longer is it the house of the Lord. Now it's all about money inside of here. Christ went in there and acted a fool, man. He did exactly what we're doing today. Are we doing exactly what he was doing? And we pointing out how these Christian pastors in these churches are robbing the people, man, and how they are financial institutions and are not institutions for the Lord or houses for the Lord. And that's what Christ was talking about. Christ went against the grain, man. He was a revolutionary. He didn't tell them how good they doing. He went in and told them, man, y'all are robbing the people. He didn't go in there trying to get a loan. He went in there and flipped the money changers. Because the money changers was robbing the people. Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 17. And his disciples remembered that it was written that the zeal of thy house have eaten me up.
Right.
Verse 18. And answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showeth thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things?
Of course, the Jews always asking for a damn sign. They always want to see a sign. Keep reading.
Verse 19. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
So he quoted the scripture. Like, man, this is the sign that I'm going to show you. That I'm finna destroy this damn temple in 3 days, I'm going to raise it back up. They didn't know what the hell he was talking about again. What the hell is he talking about? 3 days, he going to destroy the temple and raise it back up. It took Solomon 30 years to make this temple. How he going to destroy it in 3 days and then build it back up in 3 days? How you going to do that? Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 20. Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days?
He was like, man, this took 46 years to build this temple. Are you telling me you're going to build it up in 3 days? Keep reading.
Come on. Verse 21. But he spake of the temple of his body.
This is why they could never understand what Christ was talking about. It wasn't meant for them to understand what Christ was talking about. You see a lot of people who be like, man, y'all just crazy, man. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. You know, these Christian pastors, they can never understand what the hell we talking about.
Right.
Or where we getting this, you know, what we say. It wasn't meant for them to understand. It was just not meant for everybody to understand. Because in order for you to understand, you have to understand that the Most High sent us to talk to you. And you just, you know, first you got to understand that, you know, the Most High sent you to listen to the priests and the prophets. And when you don't understand, it's because you just, the Most High don't want you to understand. You still got the old God inside of your mind. You got to let it go. And you'll get an understanding. I tell people all the time, the way I started to get understanding of the truth is when I started to let go of the lie, that's when I started to understand the truth. But you have to let go of the lie first in order to get the truth. You got to let it go, man. You can't have old wine in new bottles or new wine in old bottles. You got to let one of them go. Can't have both of them. Drop that. Give me John chapter 11, verse 45. Give me a time check.
18.
You said 11 or 12.
11:45. How could you give me now how could you give me John 11:45? Yeah, would you give me John 18:28?
This is the book of John, chapter 11, verse 45. I'll got it. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did, believed on him. Verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua has done.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me catch up with you. Okay, keep reading.
Okay, verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees and council.
All right, so a lot of people are starting to see the things, and this is gonna go back into what me and you was just talking about earlier. All right, so a lot of people start to see all of the works and the miracles and the things that Christ was doing. All right, he was bringing people into the truth. He was healing the sick, feeding the hungry. You know what I'm saying? Clothing people. You know, he was just doing all kind of acts and goodwill and miracles that you know. So his name started popping in you know what I'm saying, in Jerusalem. Everybody like, Christ is the man. You know what I'm saying? He doing this, he doing that, he doing this, he doing that. All right. So now the Pharisees starting to get worried and being like, okay, he doing too much. And now we're going to find out how they really thought about Christ. All right. Keep reading. Read verse 47.
Verse 47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we?
Mm-hmm.
For this man doeth many miracles.
All right. So they're like, okay, what do we do? This man does many miracles. All right. Instead of being like, okay, dang man, this man is doing all of this stuff, this good stuff for the people. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got to be of the Lord because he, doing too much good for the people. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them saying that, they thinking, okay, what we need to do to neutralize this man. You dig what I'm saying? Instead of saying that, he was doing good for the people, he's feeding the people, he's clothing the people, they thinking, how can we neutralize him? Because he's doing way too much right now. And what they really saying is he's doing more than we are. He's looking good to the people, and right now we're looking bad to the people. And that's why, your pastors want to neutralize brothers who are in the truth. Because we make them look bad. When they see that, we don't have the resources that they have, but we doing 10 times as much with the little resources that we do have for the people. And they got like clothing, they got, man, the food banks, man, are made for the Christian church. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They don't want people in the truth to go to these food banks. They are made exclusively for the truth, the Christian church. And we take what little bit of food that we get and do have and literally feed the people. It's damn near like how Christ got the 7 fish, you know what I'm saying? The 2 fish and loaves of bread and spread it out to the people. That's what we doing with the little bit of stuff that we got. When the Christian church has the whole damn ocean and all the bread, but our people are still starving. Our people are still, they got all this land with all these churches, but our people are homeless. You do what I'm saying? And that's what they was thinking then. How can we neutralize this man? Because he does many miracles with the little bit that he has. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
Read that again.
Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him.
Like Edward was saying, if we leave him alone, everybody gonna start to believe on him. Because look at all the miracles that he doing. Look at all the good that he doing to the people. Everybody gonna start believing on him. So obviously they wasn't doing no good for the people.
Right.
You do what I'm saying? If the people are willing to leave you to go to this man, then obviously you're not doing what the people need you to do. And that's what they was thinking at that time. Because they knew that they wasn't doing what the people needed them to do. Just like your Christian pastors. Just like these churches. They're not doing what the people need them to do. And that's why so many people are leaving the churches. Because they're not feeling the void. They're not feeling that. We feeling the void that are in the Christian church. And that's why people are leaving them and coming to the truth, which they need to. All right. And they're saying that many people will believe on them. Keep reading. But there's another reason too.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Read that one more again.
And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
And the Romans is going to come and take away. Why would the Romans come and take away their place and nation? Go ahead, sister.
They were scared. They were scared if they weren't following and doing what the Romans tell them to do, or they think that the Romans would think that they were doing, that they could just come and take their stuff from them. They like this ain't a gift, a spoil of the heart.
Oh, okay, so you own it, but you ain't hitting home. Okay, so why would the Romans come and take the Jews' stuff away from them? Don't forget the Romans are the one who put them in power.
Right.
So why would the Romans come and be like and take their power away?
Because they're not keeping the people in line.
There you go. Get a sister hand. That's it. Because now you're not keeping the people in line. All right. The people are not. So if your pastor they give them power to keep the people in line.
Right.
The same way they was giving the Pharisees power back then is the same way they're giving the Pharisees power today. Go ahead, sister.
So like I said, like now, you go in there anytime it's time for elections or anything like that. They got all of these politicians who don't even go to church sitting up in the church, and then they persuade the people to vote for these people.
Right. They persuade the people. They have power. They give the people power, and then if they looking like they don't have that power no more, guess what? They're gonna take that power away from these pastors, and that's what the Pharisees were scared of.
Right.
They were scared that the Romans was going to take that power away from them over the people. Why not? Why not? The Romans might as well back up Christ or try to, because now he got the power over the people. And that's what they were scared of. They were scared of losing power. Keep reading.
Verse 49. And one of them named
damn, what's his name? Caiaphas. Yeah, that's it. Caiaphas.
And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all.
All right, so he was the high priest at that time. He was the chief priest at that time. So he was like, y'all don't know nothing, man. Y'all want to, kill his man or whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Try to get the Romans to get him. Y'all don't know nothing. Keep reading.
Verse 50. Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man shall die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
So he like, look, man, y'all don't know nothing. The man is coming to die for the nation. Caiaphas knew this because he done heard Christ speak. So he like, look, man, this man is coming to die for the nation. Let him die. It's wise for us to let him die for the nation. And not all of us die. You do what I'm saying? It's more important. It's wise for us to allow him to go on and get killed and not all of us get killed. All right, keep reading.
Verse 51. And this spake he not him of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation.
All right, so he prophesied that. The Lord put that on him to say that Yahushua was going to die for the nation, man. So Caiaphas was like, okay, we ain't got to kill him because the Most High is already prophesying that he was going to die for the nation. So we ain't got to kill him. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to get our hands dirty. He's going to do, he's going to die for the nation, and that's just what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't stop it whatsoever. All right, keep reading.
Verse 52. And not for that nation only, but that also he shall gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad.
All right, and he was telling them that he not only for that nation where he died for, but he's also going to scatter all the children of God who were scattered abroad. So this is also can go into your your Gentile precepts. You use that for your Gentile precepts right here about how Christ was not only going to die for the children of Israel that are in the nation, but also those that are scattered abroad outside of the nation. All right. When you go into Romans and Galatia and what I'm saying, Philippians and all that stuff, that those books were books of people who were out. They were Israelites who were outside of Israel. All right. So it was Israel who was scattered abroad. Christ was going to gather them together also. That was part of his mission. All right, keep reading.
Verse 53. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together for to put him to death.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 54. Yahushua therefore walked no more openly among the Jews, but went thence unto a country near the wilderness, into a city called Ephraim, and there continued with his disciples.
All right, so now he just, this Christ was like, Christ knew that, they wanted him dead. You do what I'm saying? Christ understood that they, he was, doing the Lord's work and how dangerous the Lord's work could be. You're doing the Lord's work, it is extremely dangerous to go against the grain, man. When you prophesying against nations, when you prophesying against people, it's a dangerous game. And people want to kill you, man. You know how many people really want to kill us at camp? But the Lord is protecting us at camp. You know how many people want to, really want to go up into the school and just bomb the school or something like that. You do what I'm saying? But it's a dangerous game that we're playing, and you just got to be up for the challenge, man. Give me John chapter 18, verse 28. Christ was a revolutionary, though, and he was willing to die for the people. Christ was willing to die for the people, man. That's part of being a revolutionary. Your life ain't your own no more. You know what I'm saying? One day, Lord willing, but we will lose our life. So we just got to be prepared for it. All right, John chapter 18, verse 28.
John chapter 18, verse 28. I've got it.
Come on.
Verse 28. Then led they Christ from Caiaphas unto the hall of judgment. And it was early, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall.
Mm-hmm. So they had a hall. This is after Christ had got captured by the Jews, and then he was taken and to Pilate to be judged by Pilate. All right. So this is Christ going to Pilate. All right. They took him out of the hall. It was the Passover. You know, they didn't want to go into all these heathens and get, you know, unclean by, you know, something that the heathens got going on. So they didn't go in there. But Pilate took Christ over here to judge Christ. All right, keep it.
It's like, and they themselves went not into the judgment hall, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Passover.
Mm-hmm.
Pilate then went out unto them and said, What accusation bring ye against this man?
Mm-hmm.
They answered and said unto him, If he were not a malefactor, we would not have delivered him up unto thee.
All right, so it was like if he wasn't a criminal, we wouldn't have brought him to you. All right, keep reading.
Verse 31. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him, and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put any man to death.
All right, so he like, okay, well, what law did he break? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you judge him according to your law? Y'all got laws, you know what I'm saying? Judge him according to y'all law. So they told Pilate, you know, that we can't judge him today because it's the Passover. Go ahead.
Pilate was a Roman,
right? Pilate was a Roman. All right, so Pilate like, y'all got laws, man. Why don't you, you know, why y'all bringing them to me? When you got your own law, y'all using the stone and somebody, you know what I'm saying? Why you want to bring them to me now? It was like, you know, well, we can't stone him today because it's the Passover. All right, keep reading.
Verse 32. That the saying of Christ might be fulfilled, which he spake, signifying what death he should die. Verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Christ, and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews? Christ answered and said, Sayest thou this thing of thyself?
So he asked me, like, well, are you the king of the Jews? So Christ is like, okay, are you saying this because this is what you think? That I'm the king of the Jews? All right, keep reading.
Or did others tell it be of me?
Or did somebody try to, you know, say that as being, you know, trying to be funny? Keep reading.
Pilate answered, Am I a Jew? Thine own nation and the chief priests have delivered thee unto me. What hast thou done?
So he's like, okay, of course they told me that. I ain't no Jew. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you from Adam. What you done done? Keep reading.
So Christ answered, My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from hence.
So Christ is like, you know, my kingdom ain't of this world. So he talking to Pilate, you know, he really ain't buying Pilate either. You do what I'm saying? He talking to Pilate like, look, man, my kingdom ain't even from here. I wanted to, you know, get the Jews destroyed. I can get the Jews destroyed, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no big thing for me. You know, I got to go through what I'm going through right now. All right, Kira.
Verse 37. Pilate therefore said unto him, Art thou a king then? Christ answered, Thou sayest that I am a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world.
Right.
That I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice.
And this is Christ speaking truth to power. All right. This is Christ speaking truth to power. Pilate is in a position to kill Christ, right? With all he got to do is put his thumb down, Christ dead. All right. But Christ ain't born. Christ is like, I was born to be right here today to do this. This is a revolutionary. He was like, I'm not scared to die, man. If I wanted to kill the Jews, I could have just sent, you know, a fleet of angels down here to kill all these Jews who don't grab me, to put their hands on me. Or I could have let Peter just go on and cut all the ears off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was supposed to come here and be right here before you today to do this. I'm not scared to die. You know, this is what I was born to do. Yeah, I'm a king. And I was born to do this right here. All right, keep it.
So, Pilate said unto him, What is it? What is truth? And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all.
Right.
But verse 39, but ye have a custom that I should release unto you one at the Passover.
So Pilate like, okay, this is a real nigga right here. You know what I'm saying? He ain't scared to die or nothing. I don't see no problem with him. I ain't got nothing against the brother. You know what I'm saying? He ain't did nothing that I can see where he deserved to die. You know, but to make these Jews happy, you know, I got to release somebody for the Passover. All right, who shall it be? Keep reading.
Will ye therefore that I release unto you the King of the Jews? Then cried they all, saying, Not this man.
And know this too. This ain't our custom. This was a custom that they had with the Romans. You do what I'm saying? This ain't a custom that we do. You know, this was a custom that they had with the Romans, that the Romans would let one of the prisoners go. Go ahead.
So it was like a deal, something they done cut with the Romans, like adding in laws and stuff like that to
Well, it wasn't a law.
Release a certain amount of people or something.
Well, it wasn't a law. It was just something that they had where the Romans, you know, to keep the relationship with the Romans, you know, the Romans, to show that the Romans are merciful, can be merciful to our people. You do what I'm saying? It wasn't like a custom that, you know, we had within just Israel.
Right.
You do what I'm saying? It was just something that we had with the Romans to show, and the Romans did it to show that they was merciful to our people, to keep our people in check. You know what I'm saying? It's like giving our people food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Or Trump letting Lil Wayne go. You do what I'm saying? It was like that. All right, keep reading.
Then cried they all again, saying, Not this man, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a robber.
So he was like, don't let Christ go, let Barabbas go. So they wanted them to crucify Christ. You know what I'm saying? He didn't see any wrong in Christ, but you know, he looked at Christ as just a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? He was like, look, Christ cool. I ain't got no problem with him. He a king, you know, king of the Jews. He said that, you know, he ain't scared to die. None of this. I ain't got no problem with him. But the Romans the Jews had a problem with Christ. And they would prefer him die than an actual robber die. You know what I'm saying? Barabbas was an actual robber. And they would prefer that he die, that he be let go, and Christ die. All right. Drop that. Give me John chapter 9, verse 7. We're going to end it on that.
John chapter 9, verse 7. Verse 7. And said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this he that sat and begged?
Yeah, so they was like, man, go, hold on. Go to start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And Christ passed by. He saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents?
So now they done seen a man who blind. Who was blind since birth. So of course the disciples asked, okay, who's sin? How is this man blind since birth? So he's like, who's sin? Him or, you know, his parents? All right. What does he mean by that?
By who sinned?
Yeah. He's like, who's sin, him or his parents? All right. To make him blind since birth. Go ahead, bro.
Saying, what did he do in his past life?
Or what did his parents do? You do what I'm saying? So, go ahead, sister.
So like the sir, so he said scripture where the Most High tell him in Deuteronomy that I visit the sins of the third generation of kids.
Yeah. So this is really okay. What kind of scripture is this? Go ahead, brother. This is reincarnation scripture. All right. So you can use this as a reincarnation scripture. All right, so because Christ taught reincarnation, they've been taught their whole life about reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? That's just a custom of ours. The reincarnation has always been in our teachings. All right, it's all throughout the scriptures. Reincarnation. So he was asking the man. He was like, "Man, okay, so who sinned? His parents, or did he sin in his past life? All right, to make him blind." Keep reading.
Christ answered, neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him.
So Christ answered. He was like, "Man, he didn't sin, or his parents didn't sin. He was born since birth. He was blind since birth, so that the works of God can be manifest, so that the people can see a miracle happen with this man. This is why he was born since birth. He was born since birth for this particular day, right here. All right, keep reading.
I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. The night cometh, when no man can work.
Right, keep reading.
As long as I am, verse 5, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
So he was like, man, he was like, I must work while it's in the day. You know, in the day there's light. All right. So he's like, and no man can work in the night. All right. In the night there's darkness. All right. So Christ was saying that he is the light. All right, keep reading.
Verse 6, when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay.
So he spat on the ground and made it made like a little dirt, a little mud pile, you know what I'm saying, off of the spit that what he spat on there, and made clay and put it on the man's eyes. All right, keep reading.
And said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed, and came seeing. The neighbors therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? Some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he.
And so he like, man, people started to see. So once he went and washed it off, he started to see again. So people were asking, ain't this the man who used to sit in front of the thing and was blind? You know, and then some people was like, yeah, that's him. And some people was like, it looked like him, you know what I'm saying? But he can see now, so I don't know if it's him or not. All right. So the man was like, no, this is me. I was blind. Keep reading.
Verse 11. He answered and said, a man that is called Christ made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash.
Right.
And I went and washed and received sight. Verse 12. Then said they unto him, where is he? He said, I know not.
So he like, man, where is this Christ at? So he was like, I don't know. Keep reading.
They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. Verse 14. And it was the Sabbath day when Christ made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, he put clay upon eyes and I washed and do see. Verse 16. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day.
So listen to this. So he just healed a man's eyes on the Sabbath. All right. Just made a man that everybody knew was blind. Everybody knew this man was blind. He sit out in the court and beg for money all day. He was blind. Everybody understood who this man was. All right. Christ done touched this man's eyes and made him see again. Now he can see. He ain't never been able to see his whole life. But now he can see. And he went and told the Pharisees what had happened. And the Pharisee like, where he at? He was like, well, I don't know. So he was like, okay, so this man done made you see on the Sabbath. All they can remember is that he did this on the Sabbath. Not the act that he done, but that it was done on the Sabbath. So he was like, he can't be of God because he just gave you sight on the Sabbath. He's not keeping the Sabbath. It's like these fake Israelites. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just like these fake Israelites who's been saying we can't cook, we can't kindle a fire on the Sabbath.
They just, you know, it's like fake Israelites, man. Why is y'all eating hot food on the Sabbath? You do what I'm saying? Why is we eating hot food on the Sabbath? That's what a fake Israelite asks. Y'all supposed to be starving on the Sabbath. Why is you combing your hair on the Sabbath? Why is you buying toilet paper on the Sabbath? You know what I'm saying? Why is you eating food on the Sabbath? I mean, just stupid. Keep reading.
So, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles?
Right.
And there was a division among them.
So there's a division on there because some people thinking, okay, well, if he ain't of God, how can he do these miracles that he doing? But others, of course, thinking that he was up. So he was causing division between the people because he was a revolutionary. He was going against the grain. And like Christ said, I didn't come to, people, you think that I'm paraphrasing. He said, Christ didn't come to bring peace, but he come to bring division. And on another account, it said he came to bring a sword. You do what I'm saying? He wants to bring division, man. And that's what a revolutionary does. A revolutionary was have people divided. Because some people that think he right, some people that think he wrong. If you on the side of the revolutionary, of the revolution, then, you would think that he's right. But if you're not on the side of the revolution, then of course you're going to think it's wrong. So many people thought Christ was wrong simply because they wasn't on the side of revolution. They was down with how things are or how things were. They was cool with that. But some people won't change. And it takes a revolution to make change. It takes a drastic change in your ideology and your thinking and in your ways, man, to cause revolution. That's why I said it's so revolutionary to, not do the things that you are taught to do in the world. Going against the world is revolution. You want to be a revolutionary? Go against the world. Y'all got any questions about anything? All right, with that, I'm passing the class over to Trooper Hakola.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted on. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must give permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months where the brother and sister would have caught each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'aisha. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give it to the treasury department of teacher. Priest fund. Free will offer for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, the Passover. The 14th day of the first month, Saturday, April 24th. You can find the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1 through 51, and the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 4 and 5, and the book of 1 Corinthians 5, 7 through 8, and the book of 2 Chronicles 30 and 17. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start with all black. Boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, Imagine, you stand. All men in Israel, we're going to give one courteous salute. Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmad, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem El Shabbat.
Yadi Matah, Saul. All men in Israel, we're going to give the sister one courteous salute. Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmad, Barak,
Yahweh Shemar Alatah Hashem El Shah.
Yahweh Shemar Alatah Hashem Yahweh Shah.
Yadi Matah, dismissed.